lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, which is my second channel, Nathan Oakley, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with all the Flat Earth Debate Uncut and after show goodness. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are premiering, if I could say the word, and there's also a PayPal and crypto link in the info box below this video. Now, we are joined by Anthony O'Reilly here very, very early indeed, so we'll find out why that is, hopefully, in a moment. Clearly unprepared for Anthony.
I was away for a short break.
Wow, you're keen.
I was away.
You there, Anthony?
I was here the minute you sent it. I just wanted to run through the clips that you wanted me to get.
Ah, brilliant.
The original Island Isle of Man clip, yeah? The 130,000.
130,000 views.
Yeah. I've got that.
Yeah, that's the one.
And then I've got the one where I repeated it on the beach on my belly.
Yes.
And then I've got the one that follows it, which is the Mackle Lighthouse one from the car park. You know when they said that you should never be able to see the lighthouse from the car park, and you said, "Don't show them the light. Don't show them the light."
I'm not so fussed about that one. I mean, I'm more the one I'm most keen on. Well, that will just confuse. Well, you can put in whatever you like, but the main point I want to get across is that there's been a load of arguing about the original observation, so you need to show people where it starts, the origin of what we're going to present to them, which is the first footage. That's the one that's got 130,000 views. Then you move on to what is outstanding. So what's outstanding is a begging the question proof of nothing model of the north end of the Isle of Man. So those are the two main points, and then you move on to something else which is still outstanding, i.e. Soundly, Geo Schreiber and Sean Hufford indirectly, and their bullshit that they seem to have just forgotten all about and hope will go under the carpet.
Yeah.
Swept under the rug.
Oh, you want the Geo clip as well, don't you? Whispering sound.
Yeah, so that's the third
Geo
one. The lighthouse one, fine. You know, feel free to talk about whatever you want. I'm going to go and put my coffee machine on while you're fiddling. I'll be a sec.
Okay, then.
How are you anyway? You good?
Yeah, me. Yeah, I'm all right.
Please go back. Check it. Where was it? Further down, right? Small angle formula. Small angle. Did you change the page?
You can hear right there that some audio that's not Anthony cuts off as soon as Geo starts to talk. Anthony is the one playing my hangout while he's talking to Geo. What a fucking twit. Audio guy. Gotta love me. Audio
guy. This is a part where Anthony is speaking.
It's not easy, I hope. I don't know everything.
Right. And then you hear some very quiet background noise, and you hear him clicking the mouse button.
Okay.
And also notice the dB level of the mouse clicks.
Yeah, if I measure this, for example, make a quick analysis. This is, for example, the maximum peak is minus 50 dB. If I choose this part here, minus 54 dB.
So it's very quiet up there, right?
It's very quiet, and but you still see frequencies going up till 15 kilohertz. So
For a mouse switch.
for me, this means that even though this very silent background noise, there is always coming frequencies through the microphone till this limit. What you can see here.
Actually, does that tell you which microphone? Because it could also equally be GeoStream, because that might be, I might have already done my mouse splits and he might now be doing his.
No.
I mean, if the clicks from GeoStreamer would come, then it would only go till 9 kilohertz.
Yes.
And you already see, you do not have to play it. You see, this is the part where GeoStreamer is speaking. And then here comes this quiet part. You see the colors fade. GeoStreamer at 9.
Go right away up.
Yes, if this would be your microphone, I would expect that this frequency would go show something at 15 kilohertz.
I agree.
If this would be your microphone, I would expect that this frequency would go show something at 15 kilohertz.
I agree.
Why what?
Like I've always said, if the background audio would have picked up on Geo's mic and Geo's mic alone, I would absolutely be required, with no questions asked, that I would have to find that hangout. Anthony and Nathan keep saying that the hangout is the most important thing. No, if you find the cause of the audio being picked up and it's not Geo's microphone, it's actually not the most important thing.
Yeah, if anything, it's evidence that I was coaching Riley.
Yeah.
The frequencies would go right away up.
Yes, if this would be your microphone, I would expect that this frequency would go show something at 15 kilohertz.
Yes.
I agree.
And also notice the dB level of the mouse mix.
Yeah, if I measure this, this is a part. Yes, if this would be your microphone, I would expect that this frequency would go show something at 15
It's come on up on the show today.
I agree.
Like I've always said, if the background audio would have been picked up on Geo's mic and Geo's mic alone, I would absolutely be required, with no questions asked, that I would have to find that hangout. Anthony and Nathan keep saying that the hangout is the most important thing. No, if you find the cause of the audio being picked up and it's not Geo's microphone, it's actually not the most important thing.
Yeah, if anything, it's evidence that I was coaching Riley.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
if anything, it's evidence that I was coaching Riley. That's what it sounds like to me.
Anthony's either been misrepresenting, misunderstanding, or just buying hands down. And he's made many claims that I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm supposed to do a for Mike Kavanaugh, president of Ethereum. I'm not going to start vetting eCore. Yeah, hunters will have to then maliciously try. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about this at this point. Yeah, we had a nice lengthy conversation. All I did was tell him that I've got 2 people that were involved in a hangout. There was background audio.
Please go back. Check it. Where was it? Further down, right? On angle formula. What? And did you change the page?
You can hear right there that some audio that's not Anthony cuts off as soon as Geo starts to talk. Anthony is the one playing my hangout while he's talking to Geo. What a fucking twit. Audio guy. Gotta love you.
Hey, Owen.
Hello.
was just getting tea.
All right.
Thought I was getting coffee, but I don't have enough milk for that. Very irritating. You hear
Yeah, it's the
Sean-
worst feeling in the world.
Can you hear Sean Hufford in the background?
Yeah, a little.
I'd have to prove the cause.
Yeah, that's the key point. If we could prove the cause, then I would absolutely have to provide the hangout. Yeah, that didn't happen though, did it, Sean Dickhead?
I forgot to get in touch with Ranty. Because he's very hit and miss anyway. He'll either be here or he won't. That makes no difference if I ask him.
Yeah, no early bird show for me today.
Yes,
Shame on you.
this
Why not?
microphone 15 kilohertz.
Why not?
I agree.
I was because I was 40 minutes late.
Background audio would have picked up my
No, I bumped into a guy, like a Dutch guy, and we really got rolling in the conversation in all directions. And I even broke flat Earth to him, and he was actually interested.
Find the cause of the audio
So
picked up. And
he's my latest sub to my channel, and by the way, he studies English.
Yeah, if anything.
So he might actually join at some point. He was kind of
cool.
interested.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
was too good a conversation to walk away from.
yeah, if anything, it's evidence that I was
Cool.
coaching right.
Very cool.
That's what it sounds like to me. That's what it sounds like to me.
Check. Starting in about 15 minutes.
Okay. I'm ready to go anyway.
Okay.
So what do you want to go with first? Do you want to go with the Sean Hufford GeoStreamer Whisperer, or do you want to go with the original Isle of Man footage?
I'd rather go with the original Isle of Man footage. I mean, at the end of the day, that's actual evidence, and that's more exciting from a flat Earth point of view. Wouldn't you agree?
It depends on what we're trying to do. If we're trying to discredit the opposition, then I would go with the Sean Hufford one because he's one of their fucking big protagonists. Depends. Just depends on what tactic you want to play.
We got a fake Jamie Brown in chat.
You sure it's fake?
Yeah, 0 subscriber.
Oh, okay. I was just about to go and check.
Or it's just a new thing he made because his old account got deleted or something. I don't know. But he is a 0 subscriber.
He's a globe earther now, though, right?
Apparently so. I have no idea.
Get him on. Find out what it was that turned him.
Probably the peer pressure. He's not particularly well at handling that kind of thing with his chronic condition. So he was just probably sick of the controversy surrounding the subject. That's what I think it is. I don't know.
It's just sitting down without clunking my head on the microphone.
This looks like he's a troll.
Owen, have you not done the early bird show today?
Lazy bastard.
Talking to me?
That didn't last long. That didn't last long, Arwin.
How come you've not done it?
I just told you.
Sorry, I was busy doing stuff.
Yeah,
Got chatting to some dude, apparently.
Oh, we got chatting to some dude?
Apparently.
All right, okay. Sorry, I wasn't. Oh, I should have been listening.
I'm just postponing the show till tomorrow. because I got into a really good conversation that I couldn't walk away from with somebody new, and actually got him into flat Earth. Like, he wants to know more, and I may actually get him on a hangout. So, yeah, was too good to walk away from.
About only 10 minutes.
Welcome back to
My cup of tea. I'm all sorted. Sharing the show on Facebook and Twitter, as you do.
So if I was to share your show right now, how would I do it?
Go to the video itself, the hangout that's about to be going live.
Yeah.
Watch page. And then on that page, click share.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. Depending on your piece of equipment, it'll normally bring up a bar that says share a link, and it'll say copy link, Twitter, email, messages, WhatsApp, Facebook, Bebo, Skype. I just click on Facebook and type live now. Right this second is technically a lie because we're live in about 6 minutes, but that doesn't matter. And all the good people of Facebook get to see it. And then I'll also click on the little Tweety bird. And then my 6 followers on Twitter get to see it too.
I think I've done it, Nathan. Just let me just check on my Facebook and see if it actually worked.
Should actually tell people I've got a Twitter.
And Instagram's supposed to be a good thing to do as well, apparently.
Oh yeah. Isn't it about pictures that disappear or something?
I think it's to do with when you put that, instead of doing a search by Nathan, all your results found up when you put the hashtag in. So it doesn't matter that you put your name as Nathan. What matters is what you put your content as. So if you do hashtag flat earth, then it goes just to flat earthers. Apparently.
I see.
You can narrow your work. You can target your audience specifically with flat earth rather than everybody generally.
Hashtag generous millionaires.
Hashtag what?
Generous millionaires.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Or how about hashtag free education? Hey, Nathan.
We're not educating people here, are we?
No. But, well, yeah, you kind of are.
You hear that
But
helicopter?
the funny thing is that people that will be looking for that stuff will bump into this if you put that
Honey,
hashtag
there's a
in
helicopter going overhead.
If you put it in there, then people that are gonna look for free education may actually bump into this stuff.
Right.
I do it.
You know Sandra, P900 Cool Pics?
No, who's she?
She just sent me a message on Messenger saying, I've been studying Stephen Cheatley's apt name, Blackpool to Isle of Man photo. Is it just me or does it look so wrong? The mountains just look so big and too close. I've filmed the Isle of Man loads of times at different heights and locations and in weather conditions, but I've never seen it look that big. So I just put hashtag perspective.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw it the first time I ever saw it. It looked like that.
Yeah.
As I was coming up over the hill, do you remember? And I phoned you. You're like, "Can you see the Isle of Man?" I was like, "Fucking A, I can," because it was enormous. I mean, enormous. Because it's mountains. You know, I know it's in the distance, but it's still mountains.
Yeah, and then mountains are supposed to be dropping behind the curve, and then dickheads can't see it.
But I'm just saying, if you had, forget that it's just because there's a stretch of water that suddenly people think, oh well, it's not gonna, they're not gonna look like 2,000-foot mountains. Well, they are, because they are.
Yeah, but the thing to remember is, if you were to bring the mountains online with the same distance that the turbines are, they would then be the size that everyone expects them to be. It's because they got that much further back and they can't understand perspective.
Granted.
Is that the real Jamie Brown in chat?
No.
No.
It's a sock, and he's obviously a troll. I already asked him.
Did he admit to it?
No, but he is not responding to any personal addressing, and he's just rolling out very poorly typed
Just ban him.
And Jamie Brown would.
I was going to say you need to ban him, Nathan, just because he's being a troll account.
Yeah, I've just banned him. I don't like people faking being other people. I've even done it for the globe heads occasionally. This person's faking being me. Fine, point him out and I'll ban him. No need. Just gets confusing, you know. If you've got a George Netanyahu sock spouting off, and you know, just confuses people. I mean, that's the whole point, I suppose. 3 minutes.
Let Rumpus on. Stop the censorship.
Who said that?
Gassy juice.
I do let Rumpus on. No.
If you want the sound to pass through, Nathan, I'll have to join in on Skype.
Okay.
Hey Nathan, I do kind of wonder though, what would happen if you literally just gave him free reign until he literally stopped talking?
We did, and he didn't stop talking for 25 solid minutes.
Yeah, but that's not long enough, and people still interrupted him. Just let him talk in absolute silence, and everybody literally mute, and just let him talk. Let's see how long it persists. What he will do.
2 hours. He could go He could chew out the entire show, Arwin.
Have you tried?
How do you know? Well, 25 minutes was all I could stomach, I'm afraid.
Just take, just get a coffee.
25 minutes of Rumpus is like 10 minutes of you.
Just let him talk and just go over to the other room and get a coffee or something.
Arwin, stop popping down the mic as well, man. Just
you need a pop filter. I'm going to buy one on eBay. Give me your address and I'm going to send it to you.
Cool.
Plosives, peas and stuff. Pop, pop, pop.
Yeah, I know. It's also because I sometimes I talk under pressure, so there's a lot of breath coming with it.
We all do it. We get closer to the mic and start shouting.
Yeah.
Just need a clip-on filter because yours is quite sturdy. It's like a long little thin pole, and you could easily clip a pop filter onto the end of it. It'd be twice the size of your mic because your mic opening's only about 1/4 of an inch.
Mine, Nathan.
I want a better mic anyway, and how about?
There's nothing wrong with your mic. There's just nothing wrong with your mic. The only problem you've got is your dynamic control, your control over your dynamics with the mic. In other words, if you want to be loud, get a bit further away from it. If don't get me wrong, I forget too if I'm shouting at somebody, but if I can remember, I'm doing it for the effect of shouting at them because they're an idiot. I'll move the mic away slightly.
That's what you're meant to do.
Yeah,
we all don't do it.
I forget to do it often. And I watch, and I'm looking as I'm going, no, you moron, don't assume and I'm watching my mic levels overload.
Yeah, all them red dots, they're not good.
Yeah.
Right, a pop filter on mine is like $6.99. No, $3.99.
You don't need it on yours. You've got like a built-in one in the Yeti. It's like inside the metal thing. There's a great big thick.
I thought you were talking to me when he said you should get one.
No, and it's not you that's got a problem with your plosives.
Yeah, I've always been of the opinion that the Blue Yeti doesn't need one because it's built into the mesh that goes on the top.
Well, it's not the mesh; it's underneath the mesh. There's like a
built-in
material That just
the keyword there was built in, Nathan.
Pardon?
The keyword I said was built into the mesh.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Sorry. I thought you just said mesh. Yeah, it's built into the mesh. It doesn't need one. I mean, unless you're right on top of it, like literally with the ellipse touching the thing, it might pop and stuff. But for me, it's at least 12 inches away, probably a bit further than it needs to be. But I just don't like seeing it on screen. I think it's ugly. Although you will see it as I get progressively wider angle towards Christmas, exposing more of my tree. Eventually the mic's going to be in shot, you know what I mean? Fiddling around with it, trying to stop that from happening, but I can't. Right, let's start.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal and crypto link in the info box below this video. Most importantly though, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by The Plain Truth, Arwin and Anthony. Good to have you all.
Hello, 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 what?
Good afternoon.
Anthony, you there? Hello, from the distance. Well, good to have you anyway. Oh, what a great start. Any signs of curvature?
Nope.
No, definitely not.
Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Absolutely not. This world is stationary. The physical world is stationary.
Agreed. About people who believe in space or outer space, any evidence that you can have a gas pressure, like we all breathe, next to a vacuum, i.e. without a container?
Never. Not even in theory. Not in any true model that encompasses the workings of physics and entropy, gas pressure, all that blah. The entire spectrum of reality, it doesn't work with that concept. It only works in a very limited approach fantasy, where you leave out a lot of elements, because as soon as it's complete, it'll just, yeah, it's gonna last a few seconds maybe, and then it's gone.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Nope.
Nope.
Lots of aberrations pointing out that there might be something there. It's heavily suggestive, but you can't prove it. You can't vary it. It may actually not be there in reality ever, but we don't know yet. We have to learn more about the nature of how things work and the total confine to actually find out.
I know.
Indeed.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No.
There is none of that.
Nope.
No. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
No.
No.
Even if there was something down there, how long would it last? in, again, a full spectrum simulation, would it be able to stay that hot for that long, presuming the Earth would be as old as is assumed?
Just make up a load of crap about what's gone before, i.e. history, and you can say it's lasted as long as you like, Arwin. Just make up a story.
But in any actual physics-based model, could it persist with known physics? I don't think so. I think it would cool off very rapidly.
I agree, hence the question. Any evidence of the self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of that presupposed spherical Earth? Talking of presupposed spherical Earths, any evidence of the R value, Earth radius,
Nope.
gentlemen?
No.
R.
R.
It exists in math.
Indeed, it does. And talking
Everything
of its
can exist in maths,
existence
including
in
gravity,
math,
Arwin.
R is the way that we have been lied to. The presupposition of R has been indoctrinated into us, one and all, in the Western world at least, so that we are conditioned to automatically accept the begging the question fallacy, the presumption of one's outcome. Now, for the benefit of the people who may not have been tuned into the debates back in the low teens, early 100s, that sort of number, or thereabouts, we were unaware of this. So we debated things like the Isle of Man within the begging the question fallacy that is the begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator. Now, we got to a point where we figured out that that is the trick, begging the question and assuming your outcome. In other words, putting you on a sphere before you give any evidence of the sphere and having you work with the presupposition that you are moving around a sphere when you present evidence of said sphericity. So, that being the case, we gave the rumpus specifically one last opportunity to work within those confines. In other words, to beg the question, to automatically assume his outcome, assuming R. And he is yet to do so. So on yesterday's show, he said within a week he would get back to us with a model that Philip Weinberg, I think his name was, and himself are going to model, whilst assuming their outcome, i.e. that the Earth is a sphere, and then present it to us. So, hence the title. So, countdown to reification. 6 days, because yesterday was within a week, today is within 6 days. So, we're going to go through, hopefully in the next few minutes. I don't know if Anthony wants to drop, and I'll call him on Skype so we can at least hear the audio from some of these things.
Yeah, go on then. Call me on Skype.
I will do. So I'll get Anthony to come in on Skype, and we're going to go through, hopefully, some of the evidence to date for that specific thing. So for the reification fallacy known as the heliocentric model that will be applied to our world, outrageous though that is, to dictate what we should or shouldn't see in a photograph that we can just open our bloody eyes and have a look at. So, yeah, so that's precisely what we'll do first. Once we've gone through that...
Good morning, boys!
Hello. Hey, Jose.
I mean, good morning. I mean, buenos dias.
Hey. Good to have you. So once we've gone through that, we'll then move on to something else which is very much outstanding or, nay, long overdue, which is the production of an outrageous accusation about Anthony and him listening to a hangout of Soundly's when in fact GeoStreamer was being fed by Soundly in the background of a hangout that was broadcast over on GeoStreamer/GeoDeceiver's channel with, as I say, Soundly aka the Geo Whisperer talking to him. So we'll address that second, but now Anthony's all prepped and queued. I'm going to share his screen so we can go through the evidence to date and how it's come to be that we are now giving Rumpus his own deadline. He's given us this this duration. Right, Anthony, you're up and shared.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this is all down to Ranty. Basically, I went up to St. Bees to see if I could see Blackpool Tower. I couldn't see it. I've not checked it at night time, but I checked it through the day and I couldn't see it. And my conclusion was that it's just too far away and too small because it's, I think it was 50-something miles away. And I think it was just pushing something that's only 500 feet, pushing the limits of that 500 feet too far. But anyway, Ranty said to me when I showed him the picture of what I could actually see, which is what you're watching on screen right now, Ranty said to me, he said, hey, I think there might be some flat earth proof in this. I said, what do you mean? He said, I reckon half of that should be missing. Anyway, it was just a throwaway comment. But sure enough, this is where it all spawned from. So this is what I could see at the top of this little like hill that's at the side of these caravans. And it said on Google Earth that it was 35 feet. When we measured it, it turned out to be 47 or 49, I think it was. So it was close. It wasn't bang on, but it was close enough. And basically, that was the figure that I went with. But you'll notice that on screen right now, we have this land that was affectionately known as floaty land, because you can see that there's a line of sky underneath it, and it appears to be floating. And the question is, what is the land here? It's a question, right? It's not saying it's one or the other or something new. It's just asking what is the question, what is the land. So as we get to see this more and more land, it became a pertinent point in the debates from debate number 76 to about 100. And we spent a lot of time on it because this land, if it is the Isle of Man, should be behind the curvature of the Earth. You shouldn't see it. Even at the new height of 47, you should not see it. Now, basically, this is so interesting because whilst we were having this debate over 30 shows or so, I was challenged to go back and get the same footage from the beach. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was Sly. They wanted me to go back and get the same footage from the beach. So this floaty land was the land at the north point of the Isle of Man, and it's only 400 feet at its peak high. You shouldn't see it from where I am. Now, don't be distracted by the claim of, well, you all said it were island. Yeah, we asked, was it island or not? But it doesn't distract away from the point that you shouldn't see this if it's the Isle of Man, because it's behind the curve of the Earth, okay? So I went back some months later, and this is the footage that I obtained from the beach lay on my belly. And basically, this has just been completely ignored. The ballers have got no response to this. I know Rumpus has claimed that he's got some model that he's going to demonstrate. But this is North Barul. And then I had to do this because I didn't recognise it initially. But there's the land as it tapers off into the sea. And then we have the gap of the sea. And then we have what we were calling floaty land before. Now, this is on my belly on the beach, right? It shouldn't be seen at the hill. But now I'm on the beach. There's definitely no way it should be seen. But look how squashed and flat it is. Now, that's only explained with convergence, right? Perspective. As things get to the horizon, they get squashed. So this is the angle but it's the sky angle we're looking at here. It's not the angle of the land. It's the angle of the sky squashing to the horizon. Now, you'll see now that I turn the effects off on the camera because I've had to change, so you could see it, I've had to change the contrast and the brightness. And the issue was, this was not even a particularly clear visibility day. But the issue is I can see it. It should be behind 700 feet of curvature and a wall of water. I think it was 400 feet tall, blocking out that thing in the background, which is the land, and you should not see any of it. And they've all ignored that. And they all claim, oh, yeah, you claimed it was island, Riley. Well, the point is, yeah, all right, it wasn't island, but it's still the Isle of Man, and we still shouldn't see it. Now, if the observer height is so important, then this is completely impossible, even if it is a sphere of whatever size, because this can't be the case if the observer height is so paramount on their model, and it clearly isn't. So now I turn the effects off on the camera, and all I do is I zoom back out to show you how low to the ground I actually was. And basically, I couldn't really get any lower because I'm on the driest of the wet sand. I'm not going to go and sit in the slop, but I mean, literally, I'm lay on the floor, and you can see that I've got the camera lens on a little mound of sand that I've scooped up with my fingers. And that's what the camera, I mean, how much lower do you want me to get, right? But the point is we still see that land. And they all just ignore that. They've gone with the, oh, well, it wasn't Ireland, therefore you were wrong. No, we should not see that Isle of Man from either of the two positions. And when challenged, I went back and I actually got the same footage. Now, as a spin-off from this, what also happened from the composite, when Ranty made the composite, we have on screen the Isle of the Mackle Lighthouse. Now, again, the point with this is that if observer height is so paramountly important on a sphere Earth, we should not get the same lighthouse picture in the two locations, because I've got this one taken at the highest elevation, which turned out to be at worst about 115 feet, but this is down to 30 feet. So if the observer height is so important, then the pictures cannot be the same. Now, we've got this village that's here, which represents this village that's here, but we've got this lighthouse that's here, and that's also representing this bit that's here. But relative to I mean, obviously the weather's a little bit different on this day, but look where the horizon is and look how it's basically the same. That can't happen on a ball, whatever the size it is, because the observer height has to be, it is of paramount importance on their model. but they completely ignore it. So with this particular video, you can see that I'm right down, and Miles Davis himself said that he would be most interested if we could see the lighthouse from the car park, because he went to the car park and he couldn't see it. He had to get the lighthouse, this same lighthouse that he's looking at, from the hill at Edgemont, then he could see it. But actually, we can see it from down as low as the car park, which is only 35 feet or so below the lowest of low tides. So this is Miles Davis's cue to basically admit that you should not be able to see this at all, and there is no obvious explanation. So that deals with that one. And now what I'll do is I'll move over to the Sean Hufford nonsense.
Well, maybe not, maybe not. Should we, do you want to have a break there and just go through it and maybe summarise some of those points before we move on to Sean?
Sure.
So, can you guys hear me on the panel?
Yeah.
Yes, shout out to Alpha for the super chat.
Yes, Alpha the Planetera, thank you very much for the super chat. So just to summarise, Anthony's gone down to St. Bees, he's taken an image of the Isle of Man, Ranty's had a look at it and said, I think this is a flat earth proof. He's put it out there and said, what's this land? And as Anthony rightly points out, the question was, is it Ireland? Now, it turns out to be the Isle of Man. It was win-win for us either way, because you shouldn't see it on a sphere. If you beg the question, assume your outcome, have a radius value, and put it into a begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking curve calculator. Nonetheless, that's precisely what we did, and we argued back and forth about how much should or shouldn't be seen of the beach, because as Anthony rightly points out, none of this stuff should be there. It's all long behind the presupposed Earth curve that isn't blocking anything. But we're into then arguing about superlooming, holograms, blah, 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 blah. So Anthony was ultimately challenged to go back to the Isle of Man and get it from the beach rather than from on a hill. So that's precisely what he did. He went and got the north end of the Isle of Man, what he affectionately calls the floaty land, from much, much lower, literally a few inches off the beach, on a little pile of sand. So off the back of that, that was the last opportunity specifically for the rumpus to beg the question, assume his outcome, and use his begging the question perspective hijacking proof of nothing curve calculator to tell us what should or shouldn't be seen according to his reification fallacy. So that's where we're at in terms of what's happened, and that was pretty much concluded, for us at least, at our end. When was the UK conference? Remember?
Probably about 2012, wasn't it? That long ago.
Was it April?
Yeah, I think so.
So that's 7 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Right. So over half a year later, we're still in the position where apparently 1 week from now. So essentially we've got a deadline. That's our deadline now. So it's 6 days to that deadline, 7 days from yesterday. So that's where we're at in terms of seeing if anybody in the audience, certainly not me, wants to see how much we, according to a begging the question, proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator, that is the maths for the reification fallacy known as the heliocentric model. Models are not reality, hence it being a reification fallacy. But if you want to see how much that says we should or should not see, Rumpus has got 6 days in order to do it. Those are his deadlines. We're sick of hearing them. 7 months is plenty of time. He said he's been ill for the last couple of months. Well, so what? What about the other? What about the other months that you weren't sick? Anyway, that's that. So on the back of that, we're also going to strap on this deadline to something else that's long past due. So Anthony was accused of listening to a hangout in the background whilst having a conversation with GeoStreamer, specifically about the molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth. So on a discussion about 12 months ago now with GeoStreamer, Anthony identified somebody else talking in the background, put it to GeoStreamer that he was being fed in the background, expecting him to just say, yeah, you caught me. And instead, Anthony was accused of not being fed, sorry. That was a slip by Soundly in the confession. We'll come to that later, his embedded confession. But ultimately, Anthony was accused of listening to a Soundly hangout whilst talking to GeoStreamer. So hopefully that's enough of a lead-in for you, Anthony. Take it away.
Just going to play a couple of the clips because they speak for themselves. This middle section here, that's not going to be played. It's just going to be the bits that are risen. And just listen to what the contrast of the arguments are.
Just do a quick audio check, just to make sure it works.
That work?
No.
Oh, hang on. Because I'm not sure it sounds, isn't it? Let's try it again. Right, we should be good now. You ready?
Yeah, just check it once.
Yeah. Please go back.
That work?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Wait, let me check it. Where was it? Further down, right?
Yeah, go back to that definition you said to show you
Small angle formula. What?
and differentiate size.
Small angle. Did you change the page?
Okay, so that was the conversation in place. I'm not going to play it again, but we got it analyzed, and this was called a frequency spectrum analysis. And what it showed was my microphone shows frequencies at a certain rate. And shut the door, please. And GeoStreamers is capped at a certain place, so it's not easy to. It's very easy to see the difference between the two. So I'm at the higher frequency, GeoStreamers at the lower frequency and capped. And basically, the summary of this is basically here. This is the summary of it. It's this bit here.
Yes, if this would be your microphone, I would expect that this frequency would go show something at 15 kilohertz.
Yes. I agree.
Like I've always said, if the background audio would have been picked up on Geo's mic and Geo's mic alone, I would absolutely be required, with no questions asked, that I would have to find that hangout.
So he admits that if it was shown on GeoStreamer's mic and GeoStreamer's mic alone, then he would absolutely have to find the hangout. Well, there's the clip in question where the noise was recorded. You can see that's very low in volume, and it's only it's capped. It doesn't go up to my frequency. So I'll just play that little bit again, because this is basically the nails in the coffin for Sean Huff fraud and all of his cronies.
Like I've always said, if the background audio would have been picked up on Geo's mic and Geo's mic alone, I would absolutely be required, with no questions asked, that I would have to find that hangout. Anthony and Nathan keep saying that the hangout is the most important thing. No, if you find the cause of the audio being picked up and it's not Geo's microphone, it's actually not the most important thing.
Yeah, if anything, it's evidence that I was coaching Riley.
Yeah.
I mean,
wait, let me check it. Where was it?
Yeah,
further
if
down,
anything,
right?
it's evidence that I was coaching Riley.
Yeah, go back to that definition you said.
That's what it sounds like to me. That's what it sounds like to me.
So basically, that's the end of that presentation. But the point is that the hangout noise, absolutely, the burden is on Sean to present the evidence of this so-called hangout that I was in. I'm going to play it a third time so it's really clear.
Yeah, if anything, it's evidence that I was coaching
Oops,
Riley.
not that one. Must be this one.
Always said, if the background audio would have been picked up on Geo's mic and Geo's mic alone, I would absolutely be required, with no questions asked, that I would have to find that hangout.
Well, you do have to find that hangout, Sean. And remember, you gave me a challenge to find out a random piece of text that Nathan said in one of his 450 hangouts at the time. And I found it within one day. I found it. I didn't know where it was, but I found it and I played it the next day. So why is it difficult for you guys to come up and show proof that I was listening to a particular hangout? And of course, the answer is it does not exist. You guys are yellow bellies. You will not admit that you've been caught out, because you will never, ever, ever back down. You will never concede. So I'm going to finish with this last bit here. Listen to what he now says.
Anthony and Nathan keep saying that the hangout is the most important thing. No, if you find the cause of the audio being picked up and it's not Geo's microphone, it's actually not the most important.
Now, we all know, of course, that it actually is the most important thing, because we can see clearly that GeoStreamer's mic's capped, and we see that mine's not. And we had an example of mouse clicks, that when the mouse clicks were played through my microphone, it showed the whole frequency. So basically, Sean Hufford has to find this hangout. He's never found it, and he's shriveled back into his little hole like the worm he is, and we don't hear from Sean Huffrod anymore. So he needs to be reminded that he's got this outstanding debt to basically say, I'm sorry, I lied, and I tried to cover for my friend GeoStreamer because they were caught lying or having a sneaky hangout in the background when it was supposed to be a one-to-one without him being helped. And he'll never, ever, ever admit it, even though he's been presented the proof and you'll see that he'll wriggle away. That's why he doesn't come on the show anymore. He'll blame something like Slapgate, but we all know that they're all liars, they're all deceivers, and they're all frauds.
Cool. I'll summarise that if you can jump back into the Hangout, Anthony. Is that good by you? So Anthony's microphone can pick up a frequency range up to about 15 kilohertz, and as he pointed out, the frequency range that he can pick up is not exclusive to the range of his voice. So if he clicks his mouse, it's picked up by the Blue Yeti mic that he's using, and it's picked up in the full frequency range because there's reflections in the room, and that click is picking up a full frequency spectrum of sound, and the mic will only limit it to what it can limit it to, which is about 14 or 15k. GeoStreamer, on the other hand, is running through a headset mic and is limited to about 7.5k. So anything that comes through that mic will never have a frequency above 7.5 kilohertz, and that's precisely what you hear when he's being fed by Soundly. When he says, yeah, go back to that definition he cites too, after Anthony's finished speaking and Gio's about to go and look up the definition that Anthony's just looked up. So he is absolutely, without question, being fed by Soundly. That's not in contention. We know. We've got a recording of him being fed by Soundly. So we're not contesting this. This isn't up for grabs. What we're asking for is concession. Number one, Sean, who may or may not realise that, but it's been proven beyond any reasonable doubt that he is absolutely being coached, needs to concede this, rather than throwing accusations at Anthony that he's doing this, that and the other, listening to somebody in the background. Total nonsense, proven beyond doubt. But this has all been forgotten about. If it was us doing this, we'd be shooed off the internet by these bastards for this. We'd never hear the end of it. For asking if we see Ireland, we never hear the end of it. It had a question mark on it. You saw it on this show. We still hear about that now. Soundly, on the other hand, held up as their saviour, is literally a cheat and a charlatan and a liar. We know. We've got a recording of him saying, go back to that definition he cites. So we know he's feeding GeoStreamer in the background. Now, that ordinarily wouldn't be a massive problem. The problem is that he's lied through his back teeth about it. You heard it on the recording. After the fact, he said, it actually sounds like I'm coaching Anthony. Laugh, laugh, laugh. What we would call an embedded confession. Now, it doesn't sound like you're feeding Anthony. It sounds like you're coaching GeoStreamer, which is precisely what he was doing. To this day, he still lies about it. So this man, anybody who thinks Soundly is trustworthy with his footage, no, he has no credibility anymore because he is a liar. However, as I say, this is directed at Sean, who has put out an accusation that Anthony was doing this, that and the other, and he needs to concede he was wrong and just defending liars, lest he be labelled the same as they. It's obvious to everybody watching. So he has now become part of this countdown to reification. So he's had plenty of time to actually produce this. We're not going to let it get swept under the rug. So people of YouTube, feel free to pester them over the next 6 days, to actually provide what they said that they're going to provide, or concede that they are wrong. And in the case of Sean Hufford, he's just backing liars. You know, we all know Soundly's a liar. We've got proof of it, a recording of him feeding Soundly, and then him accusing Anthony of being fed by him, which is farcical. So these bastards are going to be held to account for these things. Rumpus, in the first instance, for his 7-month delay on a model that he wants to use as a reification fallacy for the real world, and the other being Sean Hufford, for throwing spurious accusations at Anthony in order to defend liars. Coincidentally, the people who defend the Globe lie.
It's not just backing liars that he did. He deliberately tried to hide it by slurring me at any opportunity as he could do, calling me every name under the sun, just trying to discredit me, right? But the point was, the evidence is there, and they should have just said, you know what, you caught me, shit, I'm sorry. Well, you don't even have to say, just admit that you got caught, and they won't do it because they'll never.
The point,
ever
it was supposed to be
down.
one-on-one. It was supposed to be one-on-one. That's what's fraudulent about the whole thing.
Yeah, it was supposed to be one-on-one, and the liars, the deceivers, and the cheaters, they have to do it as well.
Yeah, so for anybody who thinks, oh no, the Globe's obviously true, why would you need cheaters and liars and charlatans backing this claim? It should be scientifically valid. There should be abundance of scientific evidence to back the assertion that we live on a spinning sphere flying through space, and there is none. What you do have is liars, cheats, and charlatans pushing that idea. That's what you do have. That's the reality of the situation. We say boat, tree, Isle of Man, And when we get to the Isle of Man bit, we get called dogmatists, liars, frauds, charlatans. So we are accused of the very things that these people are and do. It's projection in its truest sense of the word. They are liars and cheats and frauds and charlatans, and they project their digressions onto us, as we just say Isle of Man. No explanation needed as a flat earther. We just look at this stuff and say, look, there's the Isle of Man. There's the Mackold Lighthouse. No issue with doing that in any normal circumstances, unless you have a religious viewpoint about what the world is and how much should be seen of this, that and the other. And if you have that religious viewpoint, you are going to assert it dogmatically against anybody who is, also anybody who has the audacity to look at the Isle of Man and say, I see it because it is there. The Earth is obviously and observably flat. No explanation whatsoever required. That is an outrage to a globe zealot. And these are the people we're dealing with, the liars, cheats and frauds. So, we've got a few loose ends with these liars, cheats and frauds, and we want to round them up. So, over the next week, we don't expect immediately the people in the audience to run across to Soundly's channel and say, oh, by the way, Soundly, are you going to point out to Sean that he lied for you when you were coaching Soundly? Not were you coaching Soundly, we know he was. We've got a recording of him doing it, analysed by 2 different sound engineers, actual sound engineers, professional sound engineers, not some wanker audio guy, self-proclaimed sound professional, actual sound engineers who've worked in the field, one of which had the same or exact equipment that was being used to lie further by Sean, the amateur sound guy. So we know that Geo Strieber was being fed by the Geo Whisperer, other known as Soundly the Fraud. So this is a given. But Sean may not know that. Now we'll make sure he knows it over the course of the next 6 days, where we will highlight this. And if people get tired of it, we don't care. These are our opponents in this debate. And ultimately speaking, they go out of their way to discredit us for the most minor digressions. Most of the time, they're not even digressions. For example, asking if something is Ireland and then spending 20 shows studying it with them right there. Suddenly we get held accountable for claiming it's Ireland. Okay, well, it was in debate. Nevertheless, when people are being fed and lie through their back teeth about it in the face of a recording and 2 professional sound engineers analysing the audio information, nothing. They're not held to account for this. They're not being scorned. There's no people endlessly commenting in their videos about their absolutely outrageous behaviour and lies in the face of their deceit to begin with. No, it just gets swept under the carpet. Well, aren't they supposed to be poster children for the globe? And if it's absolutely true, right and just, you wouldn't need any deceit. You do, because it's not true and the Earth's flat. That much is blatantly obvious to at least the people on the panel at the moment. No globe heads here currently. Feel free to join the show if you want to disagree. But what have you got? What are we on? 600 shows and there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever for a globe other than dogmatic assertion and smearing by liars and frauds? Wow, that's pretty weak. If you're watching this and you thought, oh, we've got it all sewed up, we gotta go to space, right? Gotta go to Mars. No, can't have a gas pressure without a container. There's all sorts of holes. It's riddled. And that's what we've been dealing with. But what do we get for that? For actually pointing out the nonsense that is the religious viewpoint forced on all of us from birth? Well, we get called zealots. We get called dogmatists. We get called liars and frauds. And we're not. We're just saying Ireland. Boat. No outrageous religious assertions that the thing isn't really there because there's an earth curve we don't see blocking it, and that it's a slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena hologram of an island, and you must study it with mathematics before asserting whether or not you can actually... That's the kind of crap that you get from dogmatist religious zealots. Not us. We go Isle of Man. There it is. We see it. There's a photo of it to back what we say. The Earth's obviously flat. No. Let's go to this reification fallacy. Quick. Let's decide whether or not we should be seeing this. Let's decide whether or not it's a bloody hologram. How dare they? That's what you lot, the globe believers, have got to put up with, and somehow justify in your own minds that that's acceptable behaviour. To tell people that they can't really see things, that it's not really there. It's a trick of the light. It's a good day to be a flat earther. It is stupid though when you start repeating some of the stuff they tell us back, when you actually say it. Not really there. Earth curve's in the way. The Earth curve that you can't see, can't measure, and is never curving. That's in the way, according to my model, if I assume we're on a curved Earth to begin with. And the reason you see it is because light's bending at the same radius of the Earth that's not blocking it, that is blocking it, and it's bending it back so we can see it, even though it's not really physically there. That's what you must understand because the Earth's a globe. No religious zealotry here whatsoever, just accept it. How could you deny, you globe zealots? It's nonsense. Hey Spurs, long time no see. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Good to have you.
Hi, can you hear me? Am I coming through?
You are.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, how are you all? How are things?
Very well. You've usually got your ear to the ground with these things. We've only heard vague mumblings about Jamie Brown. You normally know what's going on with these sorts of things, Spurs. So what's the score?
Well, what's happened now?
Oh no, maybe you don't know. Everything's fine. He's hit the lottery jackpot and he's retired off to Hawaii.
Jamie?
You come back to the ball, apparently.
Oh, you mean with the ball? I mean, I went on the show not so long ago, and I think he's just asking the question. I mean, he didn't actually say. Well, I don't know if he said any more after when I was on there, but he was just more going back to asking the question: how do we know? I think he doesn't want to get bogged down or caught up in the explaining of the flat Earth, because what I understand now is when the globers say flat Earth, they mean like a.
Hello,
hey, Debbie.
hold on.
Hello.
Footage that goes all the way up to 1,100 feet. It's always a flat horizon where they have a fisheye lens.
Not real, not real.
Even at lower altitude.
Lovely. Oh,
Hey, Dan.
Lost half the panel.
Yep, he took out a few.
Right,
Can you hear me?
we've got 25 minutes, so I'm going to restart the hangout, guys. It won't take me more than a few seconds.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to the show. You don't know. Should be the work of but a moment. My apologies for the delay. Normal programming will resume shortly. Okay, I'll get this link published out in Skype first so we can at least hopefully get a few people back in the hangout. I'll stick it out in the public link shortly. I hope people in Skype keep their notifications turned off for all these Skype groups, because when the show's running and it's getting sniped, it must be very irritating here. Ding, 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 ding on Skype constantly.
Hello.
Hey, Arwin.
Yeah, that sniper was quick.
Damn you, trolls. Cost me at least 2 minutes work. Spurs know that it's going out in Skype. Hey,
Yep,
Jose.
yep.
Welcome back.
What if for Spurs schemo, he said he got an interesting point to
There he is. Hey,
speak
Spurs.
about.
Hey, is this back now? We're back now.
Yeah, man. It's all good.
What, are you rounding off? Are you closing? Are you finishing off now then? Or...
No, not at all. We've got 20 minutes left.
And then you finished?
No, then we're going to the show.
Ah, okay.
Then we'll have a little break.
So yeah, what was it? What we were discussing? So I was discussing sunsets with the Globers, you know, as you do. So I had this video where somebody tracked a flight from America to Moscow, right? So I've said, if you see the sunset, set out of the left window. You're looking out the window, the left window, and you see the sunset, right? And you're flying in like a straight line to Europe. Which way will the sun set? Will it rise? Sorry, which way will it rise? Will it rise from the right window or from the left window? So I wanted to try to get like a, you know, some answers or the thought on that from like a baller or, you know, or even you or anyone who understands a straight flight from America to Europe. You see the sun set on the left. If it were to rise, the next time you see the sun rising, would it be from the left window or the right window? You see? Or something like this. When you see light again.
Sorry, Spurs.
It's rather confusing, yeah?
Probably not. I pay close attention to what the sun does out my window, so...
Oh, let me show you the video. Probably better to show you the video. So you see my screen?
Yes.
Right. So we've got someone tracking a flight from, like I say, JFK in America to Moscow, non-stop, 10-hour flight. So he gets on the plane. He sees, you see my screen, yeah?
Yeah.
So he gets on the plane, leaves America. He's going straight across. I mean, even on the globe, it works the same. This line is just curved a little bit like that, though, on the board. But he's looking at that window that way, this window that way. Sun's there. Even on a board, the sun is that way, right? Whatever they say. So the sun, once it sets, in my mind, well, let's watch. Let's have a look. Let's continue. Yeah, so it's going through. Yeah, he's going through, so it's forward it. So now, at this moment, the sun is setting. So they say it's now gone down the ball, right? Is that correct, Jose?
That's what they say, yeah.
Yeah, they say now that the sun has gone down. So I'm thinking if we're looking along this horizon the entire way, along this horizon, how will the sun rise now back looking at this window? It should now go down in their model. It should go down, all the way down, back all the way around, and then come up the other side, as I thought. So I thought, right? So let me just speed this up because even though it's a short video, but you don't need to. So we just speed up, goes across. So he's looking at the left window the entire way. He's still looking at the same horizon in my mind, right? The sun is set. Now it reappears in the same horizon. How is that possible on a globe? Because he would. Do you follow what I'm saying now, or not really?
Are you sure he's not turning?
That's what I'm asking you. Do you think he's turning from America to Europe? Do you think he's turning around from this point when he's looking out of this window? Because we're saying that the sun's just going away. You're saying at this point it goes down. And now it's going around the ball, is what you're saying, yeah? So now, at this moment, I'm saying which window. I mean, if it's the left window, if you can tell me how on the ball how it works, you say, yeah, that's normal. Of course, that's normal. That's how our model works, or something like this, right? You would have to explain how the sun. Well, how does it work? How do we see the sun rise and set at the same horizon? Is that possible?
Yeah, it is.
Well, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear if that's possible, if it's impossible. What we see now, how is that possible? So you're looking at the horizon, it goes down. You're looking at the same horizon, well, not the same, but a long stretch of that horizon, say, and it comes back up.
But on the ball, you would be going parallel to the north, and it's different there with the sun and everything. So kind of does work. But yeah, hey, if you take the disk model and you presume that the sun is in a specific location, then yeah, it does also work out fabulously, just the same.
Well, let's have a look. Let's try to look at that, yeah?
I'm just
Because-
curious if the plane is actually flying in an exact straight line constantly, or if it's turning at some
Well, let's have
point.
a look. Let's have a look. Directions must go. Let's type in J.
And I'm not talking about the routes on the map. I'm talking about in reality. So
No, I know, but I'm just saying, even on a ball, right? It's still like a straight line. So he's left. We see here. Let's go back again. So he's left there now. It's sunny, right?
Mhm.
Oh, I don't know if I can do this. Won't zoom in and out. Is that the furthest it goes? So look, either way you look at it. So the sun is on this side, Arwin. Is that correct or not? He's looking out that way.
Yeah.
Right? He's in America. He's at JFK right now. Would you say, is he looking at the left window or the right window in your mind?
He's looking through the left window, of course.
Left window. Okay. So he's looking, the sun is over this way.
Yeah.
Or is it over this way?
No.
North.
Yeah.
So it's going to go up. You're saying it's going to go. So the sun is going to go down here, behind this horizon here, no?
Right.
Right. So it goes down. So how does it come up now again here? Is the sun just moving around this area of the Earth?
Round. Well, it's supposed to be in the distance, and the Earth is spinning and moving in the heliocentric oval circle around it. So yeah, that kind of does work out.
What do you mean, kind of? How?
It does work out, technically. Like Nathan even explained this. They got this pegged.
With the supposed tilt that the Earth is supposed to have,
Yeah,
no, it does not work.
Now, of course, there's no proof for any of that, but in the model, astronomics-based model, it does work out.
I'm not so sure. I think that pretty much explains the flat Earth, because you see the sun go away, and then it comes back to you at the same horizon. How can that work?
But
on a ball?
No, but you're assuming that it's going away because you're assuming it is in a physical, relatively close position. But
Well, like
but it doesn't look over time. The linear relation between the sun's size and its angular speed, it doesn't decrease when it approaches the horizon, because it is a purely visual phenomena that has a stable trajectory around the observer. So it doesn't go away into the distance, because it doesn't slow down. It doesn't gradually become smaller. It only does that in occasions when it enters the miraging zone, and then all kinds of weird stuff happens. It almost looks like it suddenly speeds off at warp speed.
Travis, you there, Travis?
Because the angular speed remains the same.
Yeah, it's me.
Let me ask you a question, Travis. Is it possible in a 10 hours span to see the sun set and rise in the same side? So if I'm in a plane looking through the left window, I see the sunset in the left-hand side, and I see the sunrise in the same side of the window in a 10-hour span. Is that possible? Because you got a better idea on this model, Travis, because you check on the Sky app and all that stuff.
I'd have to think about. Yeah, I'd have to think about what you're asking me. I'm not prepared to give you an answer right now.
Okay.
I mean, I was kind of making a similar observation about the moon. I've looked more at the moon. Not that I'm a professional, but for 4 days ago, the moon was rising at 10 o'clock in the evening, and then 3 days later, it was rising at 1 o'clock in the morning. So 3 days later, 3 hours later, but it was in the same position. That to me was strange. but I don't have an answer.
Okay, but you cannot kind of picture what I'm asking you.
Yeah, abstract. I can understand what you're asking me, but I don't have an answer. Sorry, Jose.
Okay, it was more for Spurs schema over here, which is the one proposing this.
Yeah, I missed his question, so.
He's basically trying to compare the models, the flat Earth presuming physical object spinning over a disk model view, the flat Earth, with the heliocentric model, but they're just very alike. It's always been the case. They both work, and there's been eternal discussions and backs and forths about it, and both complain, yeah, but it does work on this model, and the other, yeah, but it also works on this model. And yeah, it's never going to end, because you're assuming it is that model. That's your presupposition.
No, but this was more to the ball earthers, well, and to the panel, but more like just to think about what we're looking at. So, you know, Travis, would you see the sun set? You're at the beach. I know this doesn't happen, but the sun sets at the beach and you see it rise, you know, along the same horizon, or would you expect it to rise behind you? Or
I would expect it to rise behind me.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. If we just take an
I'm going to leave these guys chit-chatting away about where the sun should and should not rise, while I say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. And of course a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, then smash that dislike button, but then smash it again. But if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
So how do we see the sun rise in the same or on the same horizon? Hey, Anthony, you can correct me if I'm sure I'm going wrong somewhere.
Yeah, I've gone wrong somewhere. So I'm really sorry to do this to you. I've started this hangout on the wrong account, right? So, which is a bit of a problem. I won't go into the details of why, but I'm going to need to start another new one.
What? This is not live?
No, this I've just ended the show. I told them in the chat, I'm like, oh, I've got a technical issue. Just when we got sniped, I just pressed the wrong button when I was starting a new show, and I've started it on the wrong account, which does cause me a few issues. Tedious for you guys. You don't really know to know this, but what you do need to know is I am literally going to have to kick you out and get you to join by another link. I'm really sorry.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah,
boo. It's okay.
But then
that's
at least
okay.
I can't get this link out that's currently that show. After we were sniped, there was no public link. No one could join. So, right, I'm going to end this call. I'm going to stick it in Skype. It'll be literally 30 seconds before you get it. Right, well, they're rejoining. I'm on camera already. I might as well do it from here. I'll say, let's get my button. Right. I'll say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the Nathan Oakley audience for tuning into this Uncut section. A not often recorded part of the show, I will admit, but there we go. Massive thank you to you all, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Shut up.